Hey everyone, this is Chris Clement from SW, and today I'm going to show you our new feature in TimePro called the credit note, but for prepaid balance. Now, to explain to you what this feature is, first of all, I have to explain first like why we need this feature in the first place. So to do that, I'm just going to show you with this new invoice that I just created, invoice 138552. So scenario number one is that I've just created this invoice and then oopsies, I made the wrong invoice. Oh, that's easy. I can just scroll all the way down, and then on the bottom right, I can click that delete invoice and then click delete invoice, and that's it. The invoice is going to be deleted. Nothing has ever happened. All done. Now, that works for like in the simple scenario where we did an oopsie, but in the second scenario where I've already created this invoice and already sent this to the client with all the billables and timesheets allocated. Now, 3 months down the line, turns out that the client will not pay for this for whatever reason. We don't know. But from the accounting perspective, we have this invoice already been sent. And then we already have claimed that, hey, we have the 4,400 in revenue, but we actually never get this money because the client hasn't paid for it. So now, what do accountants usually do? They will create a credit note to reverse this invoice. So in TimePro interface, we have a shortcut to create credit note over here. So if you click the add credit note and then click create, so this will create a credit note in Xero and then allocate it against this invoice. So what happens is that we effectively we reverse the invoice. So the invoice is like saying, hey, we have 4,400 in revenue. The credit note is saying that, oh, sorry, that didn't happen. So I'm going to reverse that. So from the accounting perspective, the balance is zero. It's balanced. Now, that is fine, all good for a time invoice, but here's where it's a bit tricky. TimePro has a concept called prepaid invoice, where on top of having a revenue, it also has a prepaid balance that is accounted separately. So I'm going to show you quickly. So if I click, I'm going to create a new invoice for Northwind. Okay, like a prepaid invoice, and I'm going to create a software architect for let's say 20 hours, 50 hours maybe. And then I'm going to click save. So I'm going to create, I've already created a prepaid invoice with the amount of prepaid remaining is for 9,000. So the tricky part is that if we reverse this invoice as is, we actually don't reverse the prepaid balance, because what we did in Xero is just, hey, we have this invoice and then we reverse that invoice. But from the TimePro perspective, we still have the prepaid balance remaining. So this new feature effectively grants the ability for the credit note to also reduce the remaining prepaid balance. So then, let's say in the scenario where we already sent, we mistakenly create like a prepaid invoice for 100,000. Turns out it has supposed to be only like 80,000. So in this scenario, the client will only pay for 80,000, and then the rest of the 20,000 is credit with credit note. So then we don't actually manipulate the invoice to change the products or the amount. We actually allocate credit note to reverse it. This is really useful, especially when the invoice is already locked and you don't want to manipulate the numbers in the invoice. You just want to make the balance go down to zero. Okay, so I'm just gonna demo you this feature. I'm gonna click add credit note. We have a new tick over here called remove prepaid remaining prepaid balance for prepaid invoices. If we tick that, then whatever number we put in the create credit note will also be deducted from the prepaid balance. So the default is just to be the maximum the minimum amount between the total due or the prepaid remaining, and it's inclusive GST. Now if I click create over here, it will try to create this credit note in Xero, and then we'll allocate this invoice, and then that's from the Xero side. From the TimePro side, we'll also reduce the prepaid balance remaining. So now, as you can see, after saving, you have the prepaid remaining balance to zero, and the total due is zero. So from the accounting perspective, this prepaid has been credited, and all good, everything is balanced. So That's it. I've shown you the new feature in TimePro to deallocate remaining prepaid balance using Credit Note. I hope this video has been useful to everyone. This is Chris Clown from SSW, signing off.